Yo, what's up YouTube? Firefist Chris here, and today I'm bringing you guys a deck profile of Sanji. This is a leader that's kind of not really seen in OP-02. Not a lot of people even play it, kind of forget it even exists. I kind of just been testing around because it is a fun deck. It does have a lot of cool combos you can do with the leader's ability. And if you guys don't know already, this is the new card that just came out in Paramount War. So the leader ability says when you play a character with no base effect from your hand, and if you have 3 or less characters up to 2 of your Dawn, set them as active. So pretty much if you summon a vanilla, you get 2 Dawn back as active, which is combos very well with the event cards in your deck. So you can kind of flood the board with these vanilla monsters, these low cost ones, and use the ability of the leader to get active Dawn to either summon more for additional pressure or keep the Dawn up for defensive purposes with the good event cards you run in this deck. Again, this deck is not one of the greatest of the format. In general, a lot of people, for the most part, not really too sure how to play against it, since it's kind of rare to even see this deck. And it is kind of a sleeper pick. So I'm just going to go ahead and get straight into the deck profile and explain a couple things for this deck. So let's get in. Currently, right now, I'm only running 3 of the laws. It's a 1-drop blocker, and not really much to say. You can kind of summon this for free using this ability and getting an extra Dawn to summon this, and just being able to protect your characters on field. Next, I'm running 2 of the film Jinbeis. So 2-4 isn't the greatest stat in this build. I'm running it because as a turn 2 play, you can drop this and then set both your Dawn as active. Which you can have something to attack with next turn, as well as have an event to protect yourself. So it is a decent turn 1 play if you're going second in this deck. But all in all, I kind of try to keep everything around 5,000, so I can just drop a vanilla monster for free and be able to attack life without any additional Dawn resources put on this to be able to attack. Next, I'm only running 2 of the 2-drop killer. Killer, it's a decent card. You're going to have a lot of characters on field, so the effect becomes relevant a lot. But it's just a lot of vanilla monster. I don't want to clog my hand up with blockers and things that can't advance my board state. So only running 2 of the killers. For the 2K counter, running just Avita. Really, you don't really ever summon this unless it's against like green or something. You need to put an Akiku back to hand, or just in general against maybe even red. Depending on what they have on the field. But for the most part, you just use this for a 2K counter. Then for the vanillas, for the 3 drops, 3 of the Usopp, it's a 3/5 to film Straw Hat. Not much else to say. You kind of bring this out for 1 cost. Next, I'm running 3 of the Mochas, a 3/5 again. And then with the ability of Onigiri, you can summon these from your hand and protect your life. Running 2 Izos, both because you can rest stuff, as well as it's a 2K counter, so it's really useful in that way. And then for the next package, I run 3 Centimaros. So Centimaro is a really good card. You don't ever really want to attack with this, just leave it as active, and it kind of forces your opponent to do something to get rid of it. So if you don't know what it does, Dawn 1, activate main, you can rest 2, and then play a Pacifista with a cost of 4 less. So this just combos real well with 3 of the blocker Pacifistas. I'm only running 3 because it doesn't have any counter value. But being able to get a blocker from your deck is really strong. And kind of flood the board with these blockers and attackers. And it kind of just gives you additional pressure. Same thing with 4 Pacifistas. You can either hard play this for 2 because you get 2 Dawn active. Or you can bring this out with Centimaro. So it's just a really good card to have in this deck. Again, with more 4/6s, I'm running 4 of the Zoros for 4/6. Just a good attacker, good stat line for 6 attack to be able to go into Whitebeard. For 2 more blockers, I'm running 2 of the 5-drop Laws. So Law is really good in this deck as well because you can bounce something back after its attack and then summon it, and getting 2 Dawn back active if you haven't already used your leader ability for that turn. I'm only running 2 of the 5-drop Frankies. It's a good stat line as well. Didn't want to run more than that. Running for the biggest beater in the build is 2 of the Mihawks for 6 drops. And that's it for the characters. So all in all, this kind of deck just works in spamming the board with these vanilla monsters, getting active Dawn, and applying pressure, which is 5 attacks non-stop. And then you protect yourself with the event cards, which to start off with 3 of these onigiri. So your leader or character gains 6,000, then you can play a character with a cost of 3 or less and no base effect. So this can bring out the Usopp, the Mocha, the Jinbei, and be able to get a card out for free. So a lot of times I'll just keep 3 Dawn up, and even if I have the Usopp, just protect an attack, drop it for free, and be able to protect an attack. Also has a great trigger effect where you can rest an opponent's leader or character with the cost of 5 or less. The resting a leader catches people off surprise sometimes because they don't really realize that you can rest the leader. And they might be trying to play around by attacking first with the character, and then you could just rest their leader. Then for more event cards, 3 Love Beams. It's just a great event card. It's one of the best ones that blue has, and it gives you extra additional draws, which by using this ability, get an additional draw can get you more counter power or draw into another event. Then I'm running 2 Overheats. Overheat's a great card because you can bounce a card with 3 or less, so it's good against green, it's good against red. Just in general, it's a good card, 4,000. And then for the last of the counter, I'm running 2 of the Punk Gibson. I kind of split it 2 and 2. I might end up cutting the Overheats. I'm not entirely sure. I'm running 2 more Punk Gibsons. We'll just see how the play testing goes for this build. But all in all, the deck itself, it runs pretty decent. Obviously, like I said, it's not going to be a deck that's going to change the meta for this format. It's kind of more of a fun deck that you can catch people by surprise by being able to just flood the board and attack a lot. Surprisingly, this has a decent matchup against black decks just because you can just keep spamming stuff, and even they're popping, they're getting rid of resources, and you can just keep attacking for 5 nonstop with this deck. So all in all, I mean, this deck profile, I'm just going through here again if anybody needs to see the cards over again. But this is just something fun that I'm going to decide to make more deck profiles of just decks that are kind of not really representative for the meta. And this was it. This is the Sanji build. Like always, if you guys enjoy the content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And this is Fire Fist Chris signing out. Peace.